Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? It is Claire Ackers here, coming to you live from Sunnyback Mills in Farsley. It's Friday morning, Friday going into the bank holiday. And I'm just popping in to tell you a story this morning. So if you're watching me live, please do say hello in the comments. And if you're catching up a little bit later, then please say hello as well with your comments with hashtag replay. So no, I know you are catching up a little bit later. Um, so what am I doing here today? So we are about to head off to Northumberland for the bank holiday. And oh my gosh, I cannot wait. We're taking the camper van and we're going to go to the beach and we're going to go to Barter Books and we're going to go to Alnwick Castle. And we're just going to have a marvellous last hurrah to the summer holidays. And if I tell you that I've come in this morning and I've made myself a little coffee and well, coffee take one, I poured the milk in and there were bits floating in it. I mean, that Brit just pretty much sums up August, doesn't it? It's like everything's just a bit slow, not quite right. Don't know about you, but I am not feeling like I am firing on all cylinders, having all the different things that I've got to hold in August. So I'm drinking black coffee, which is very, very weird for me. Let me know what you are drinking this morning. But last night I had a memory, or I had Facebook memories flash up on my phone of this time last year. And I'm thinking and talking a lot about visibility at the moment. And this memory was just the perfect example of why visibility matters. So I'm supposed to be at home packing at the moment. So sorry, ants, if you could just crack on that with that, that'd be lovely if you're watching me. But I just wanted to pop on and tell you this story because it's quite funny apart from anything else. And what is Friday morning for if not for a funny story? So please forgive me, indulging me, sitting here having a coffee and telling you my funny stage fright story. So this time last year, we took the kids to a Deershed Festival, and if you don't know what this is, it is a 3-4 day festival in Yorkshire, and it is just for kids. So it's all your typical festivals. So there's tents, there's all the different stages and the different acts. There's lots of fun stuff to do. Lots of there's a place called the Wilder Wild where the kids can basically be let loose with planks of wood and nails and hammers. There's like hay bales for them to call the feral farm. It's that kind of vibe, and it's really, really fun. And we had a lovely, lovely time. But during this festival, there's like a big, big top, like a circus tent, and there was a family bingo session on, and I was like, yeah, we'll do that. That sounds fun. Um, this was, I think, just after the drag queen silent disco. Thoroughly recommend. That was really fun as well. So we're sitting in the circus tent, and there's probably a couple of thousand families in there. You know, it was a big, big affair. And everybody got these bingo cards to kind of tick off your numbers, and they called the numbers out. And then if you got a line, you went up to the front and you got a prize. All good. Kids were having a great time. My 3 kids, who then would have been 12, 7 and 2 were all sitting together doing this bingo and having a lovely time, and they were appreciating the chill out time. There were lots of lovely families there, but we're kind of sitting hunkered on the grass. It's all kind of dark in there, a bit cozy, and there was like a compere doing this thing on the stage. And it went through and it went through and it went through, and then I realized we were getting quite close to getting a line. I thought, this is a bit exciting. Could you imagine if we won? That'd be brilliant. And it went on, and we got a line, and hands shot up. We've got a line. You kind of elbow your way to the front through all these families to prove to the compere that you have in fact got this line. And my kids are really shy, and they didn't even want me to shout out that we had this line. Because they didn't want to get embarrassed. They didn't want the attention. They didn't want there was like a spotlight that went round that lit up the families that had got a line. They didn't want that, even if it meant they were getting a prize. But I was like, no, we've won this fair and square. We are getting that prize. So I'm there making my way to the front, got to the front, showed the compere that a line. And he said, yes, you've got a line. Awesome. However, There was another family, a dad, also making his way to the front because he had got a line as well. And he showed his piece of paper to the compere and they verified that, yes, in fact, he did have a line as well. There was only one prize. What was going to happen? What we were going to do? And of course, the way that they were going to decide how they got this prize, which was a slushy maker, like an old school slushy maker. I wanted that prize. That was a cool prize. My kids wanted that prize. I could see it in their eyes. But we couldn't split it. So what were we going to do? There was only one of them. So the compere got me and this dad up on stage in front of, just imagine the scene. We're on stage, we're in bright floodlights, everybody else is in dark, and there's a couple of thousand people there. It is not a small crowd. So I'm standing there up on stage and I'm kind of festival chic by this stage. You know, my hair's a bit all over the place. I think I had glitter and face paint on. I'm in like a play suit, slightly grubby by this point. So I'm standing on stage. I'm not in my kind of business wear. You know, I'm not in my look at me. I'm in my business owner outfit. I'm yeah, a bit below that sort of standard. I'm not ready. I'm not camera ready, definitely. And so the compere says, right, we need to decide who is going to win this slushy maker. And the way that we are going to do this is we are going to have a dance off. I'm an introvert. I don't drink. Dancing, yeah, I still love to dance. I really, really love to dance. But doing it sober in a competitive situation, this is not my zone of genius. Oh my gosh. And they told us what the dance was going to be, and it was going to be the robot. I cannot dance to the robot. I can do the Macarena. I can do Saturday Night. I can do various different routine dances of the 90s. I actually won a prize once for doing Kylie Minogue's Locomotion, but the robot is not one of my dances. Oh, heck, what was I going to do here? And it was that stage fright moment. It was absolutely horrendous. The other dad was looking a bit nervous as well, but I could see that he wanted that slushy maker as well. And I looked out into the crowd and I saw my kids' eyes meet mine, and they had some expectations. They were kind of caught in this weird place between extreme embarrassment that it was their mum up on there on stage, plus also looking at me to see what I was going to do. How was I going to react in this situation? And in that moment, I had a choice. I could half-ass it. I could do a half-hearted attempt and kind of do this embarrassed, middle-aged mum type little dance thing and just fudge it, or I could bring it. And can you guess what I chose? In that moment, I decided to bring it. I was going to win that slushy maker. And so the music started up and it was Beastie Boys Intergalactic, perfect for the robot. And I just thought, right, I'm going for it. I am going to just absolutely channel my inner, God, I don't even know. I haven't got an avatar for this, but I was just going to bring it. I was going to bring all my warrior queen, all my I do not give a flying fig what you think of me, all of my, I'm going to ignore the fact there are people in this crowd thinking, oh my gosh, look at that woman. She definitely does not have the right bra on for those moves. And I was going to win that slushy maker. And I did. And there was footage out there because my daughter filmed me of this dance routine. It was not strictly speaking the robot. At some point, I did bring in the Running Man. But I just had the time of my life up there. I wasn't going all out to win it. I just thought I am going to give it my all and just see what happens. And I had a laugh. I had a laugh up there and I was playing up to the crowd. And yeah, I just brought it. I absolutely brought it. And you know what? I won that damn slushy maker. I think there was even a cheer, so the crowd had to cheer for who they wanted to win, and I won it. I got the popular vote, and for me, that is petrifying. And they gave me the slushy maker, and I got down off that stage, and I walked through that crowd, and I presented my kids with this slushy maker, and the look on their faces of, oh my gosh, my mum won this for us. My mum triumphed in this situation was worth all the humiliation and the fear. And yesterday I found that slushy maker. It was on the top of the kitchen cupboard where it hadn't been touched for a year. But that is not the point. The point is I won that slushy maker fair and square. And why am I telling you this story? Well, the first thing I want to mention is, for me, that is the most petrifying situation that I could be in. That feeling of all eyes on me, extremely visible. And that's because of my origin story. And my origin story around my own version of imposter syndrome and fear around getting visible was being a kid in school and answering a question, putting my hand up in class to answer a question, getting the answer completely wrong, and everybody, including the teacher, falling about laughing at me. Now, that incident kick-started decades worth of fear of public speaking, of saying anything in public, of making myself visible and exposed and vulnerable and open to ridicule. So for me, that situation with the robot dance-off was hideous, absolutely hideous. It triggered all my deepest, darkest fears about being visible. Um, the fact that I was able to do it, the fact that I was able to bring it when I needed to, is what I feel is testament to all the work that I have been doing, all the inner work to reprogram those fears. So that is the first thing I want to acknowledge, that I have been doing the work to reprogram the origin story, that fear of being visible. The second point I want to make, and this is really, really key when it comes to being visible, I know so many people struggle with the idea of being visible, is you've got to have a compelling reason for bothering. You've got to have a compelling reason for stepping outside your comfort zone and risking that fear of ridicule and people taking the piss out of you and looking stupid. And that, for me, my compelling reason was my kids. My kids were looking at me. I had to be the role model in that moment. And then the other reason as well, the other reason for getting visible, and this is really, really key, and I know that so many people struggle with this, is you've got to feel safe. You've got to have that grounding of, I feel safe to be visible, before you can really put yourself out there and do it in an aligned way. So it does become fun. And this is kind of the reason that I'm telling you this story, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and thank you so much for indulging me and listening for so long, is if you would like to become authentically visible, um, and you would like to hear more stories like this and get the techniques so you can become authentically visible yourself. And it doesn't need to be on a stage. It doesn't need to be dancing in front of a crowd. Authentically visible can be so many different things to you. It could be being able to pitch for funding effectively. It could be being able to speak up for yourself in a meeting. It could be able for you to say no to things. It could be for you to attract your clients, attract with them at a heart and a gut level. If you would like to become more authentically visible, in September, I am rerunning, I think it's the 5th or 6th time I've run this now, my Authentic Visibility coaching series. Now, this one is for female business owners. And like I say, I've run this several times before, and every time I do this, it changes lives. And I do not say that lightly. So if you would like to be more authentically visible, I invite you to come along. I'll put a link in the notes for this video. And yeah, just come along and see what could happen when you feel safe to be seen in the right way by the right people. All right, I'm going to go and finish packing. Thank you for being here today. Have an awesome bank holiday, whatever you're doing, and I'll see you very soon.